3. Okay. So Adam, I think the biggest thing that we were really getting into last week is the June 2nd upcoming cybersecurity automation workshop, and then if there was anything else to contribute in the use cases, which now I'm going to forget where they are. So I think we have some of them in here, but not everything.
Right. So, I mean, is the ask basically like, are there other use cases we're going to bring?
I believe that's the idea.
Okay. So, when I look at those use cases that are right there, like getting the SBOM information, enterprise security posture. I mean, what other use cases do we really have to attack at this point? I don't think we're going to do like asset management or anything like that, right? And I know it's been a while since I've been on these meetings, but
Well, it's also partly a question of, are you going to actually bring any of them as CIS? So NSA is bringing some of them, S-Fractal is bringing some of them, some vendors are bringing some of them. Part of it was actually, were you guys actually going to bring it?
at this point, we don't have any plans to do that. We've got RSA coming up right after that, and yeah, just no plans at this point.
Okay.
Okay, Sarah, you have your hand?
Sorry, I have my hand up.
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah, totally.
It's still up. Yep.
I don't know how to turn it off then.
You go down to where you would have turned it on and click it again.
I was in Slack.
You were clicking on stuff to figure out how to record, and you raised your hand, I think.
I turned it off for you.
Okay. I honestly have no idea.
That's okay.
It waves and then it stops and then it goes away.
Well, I'm just clicking all kinds of wrong stuff today. I mean, then I guess we can just jump right into issues. I'll admit I've been out. I know.
Could I ask one more workshop question while we're still on it?
Yeah, of course.
One other thing the workshop could use that I think some of you might have been hit up by Jane already is, in the ideal world, a 3-minute or less video saying, hey, what the heck is Pace? Because most people won't know what it is, and Oasis wants to use it for other stuff as well. And if you can't do a 3-minute video, you can bring people to the homepage, but to be honest, you don't really get the nature of what we're doing from the homepage. So if anybody were to do anything, it would be nice if somebody would do that.
Yep, they reached out. They did. They reached out. They're looking for people. I just can't do it.
Anyone else want to volunteer to do it? Anything's better than nothing. And if nothing, we'll leave it blank. But if people get 3 spare minutes to just turn on their recorder or just turn on their PowerPoint and talk into it, or even just put the PowerPoint in without the talking, who knows? But if not, we'll live without it. Back to you, sir.
Well, I was just going to drop into the issues, and if we wanted to cover anything there. I mean, I don't see that there's anything specifically new that is open. This pull request was from quite a while ago. And with my time being off, I haven't really gone through any of the existing issues to see if there was anything else that could be added to the FAQ with me being out of the office. So I guess I'm open to topics for today.
So I guess, look, I've got the top issue on the list and an announcement for the call. One of the use cases in the call architecture, in the PACE architecture, sorry, is direct retrieval of SBOMs from the bar, like after they've already been collected and inserted. And so now I've got a PAR up and running and available for the call participants to use. I've got a 3 little trivial example devices stuck in there, and there is software available that will allow people to create devices and populate their attributes. Normally that wouldn't happen from outside PACE. The posture collection service would create devices and insert attributes into it. And then people outside of PACE, like the decision maker, would be able to do the queries. But in any case, the proof of concept PAR is up and running now, and people can play with it if they want to.
It's really awesome.
Definitely want to. If everyone else is okay, you could give a brief demo. That would be great. But some questions. Did you? I haven't looked lately. Is there a pull request against the website so you can say more about that in either NSA or under tech details?
Yeah. It's there's one open pull request. That's it.
Got it. I'll go look at it. Thank you.
Yep.
But yeah, if you could show us some stuff, I don't know if we can screen share on this kind of thing, but that would be great.
Oh. GitHub, go to the continue. It's going to take me a minute or so to get this downloaded. Problem is I'm on a different workstation right now than I usually work with.
Are there any other topics that people want to cover while we're waiting? There is one topic that we can talk about while we're waiting, if everybody wants to. Or are you getting close, David?
Looks like it is working now. Yes, I had to open up Notepad, download the pull request, paste, and start it up. And now it looks like it's there. So let me see. Now, if I can share a application tab. Okay, can you see that?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, so this is a web page that's included in the pull request for the call. It is connecting to an Amazon web service that exposes a GraphQL interface. And the idea of GraphQL is you can do queries to query the database. You can do mutations to update the database. And so if you are...
Mutation means make a change in the database. Is that what that means?
Yeah. So if you are the posture collection service, for example, you would be able to issue this list of commands on the left side: create device, create an SBOM, delete a device, delete an SBOM, update. So, so I've played with it a little bit. So if you have a query, you want to list your devices, all of this data that's over on the left side is stored in the GraphQL API. And if you look at the data that's there, it's fairly similar to what we've got in the posture attribute collection actuator profile, which hasn't been published yet, but we're working on it with HII. And so the fields that are stored in the database are derived from that API. So the way you work this, on the left side, you fill in the kinds of data that you want for a query, and then in the center screen, you execute it. And so right now, the query is just saying list devices with the items that are there. And you query that against the database, and you get 3 devices that I had stuck in there. There's no information there yet. Adam mentioned asset management. And so we're assuming that if you have an asset management system, that it will have information about devices that are on your network. And so you can expand this query out to list the devices and all the device information you might get from an asset manager. And if you execute that query, you'll get the same thing, except you'll get more information about the devices there. We have the idea of attributes that you can collect from a device using the OS query protocol and the fields that are in there. I haven't populated any of this data. So if you try to look for attributes, if you add that to the list, you'll get nothing back. It'll just be the attributes for each device is missing, but a mutation could add attributes for the devices that are there. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to try to do a demonstration of making an update, but if you did do that, you wanted to create a device, for example, you would have the same kind of data, except that you would be typing the information in. What's an HP computer called? I don't know.
Do they still make the Inspiron?
All right.
Called my Deva.
Right. Okay, so I will create a device and add that to the database. You'll see that there's 3 devices there now. I will add one to it. Oops. So
We believe it's doable because you did the other ones.
yes. So anyway, so when I tried to do it, I got an error, and it describes the error, and one of the required fields was not included. So anyway, it's done. So that is there. Anybody can play with that. And I've got some screenshots in the pull request and a little note saying there's no access control. You can do anything you want. So don't just deliberately mess things up. But it's a playground people can play with. And that's, if you're running an application like the attribute collection service, then these queries and mutations are what that application would generate in order to contact the PAR and update it.
So Dave, a couple, a comment and a request. I'll do the request first. So you mentioned you could pull an SBOM. You'd already put one in. I'd love to see you do that. And second, you said we could play with it. So I've accepted your pull request. It's on the, DoD sweat equity of the workshop. And when I click the link that says PAR proof of concept, I assume it's supposed to bring to me something that looks like something like yours. And instead it tells me errors, invalid URI format.
Yes. Yeah. So that link is just a web page. Go down to the bottom and it said there's a PAR tutorial. And then if you get into the PAR tutorial, it will have that list. It will have the web page that you were just looking at. Let me stop sharing. You don't need to see my.
I wanted to see you pull an SBOM.
I don't have any SBOMs loaded.
Okay.
So that, just like the attributes, the SBOMs are blank. I will be working on that over the next couple weeks. Pull some actual SBOMs from Ozer and link them to some of the fake devices. And so yeah. So no, sorry, there's no SBOM demo available yet. But
hey, you're getting there. This is great. You're further than I am. So, but there's still 2 weeks.
Yeah. Were you able to click on that and get the Explorer?
No, because I didn't get the tutorial, but I had, maybe it's just the PR isn't in yet. It's on the sweat equity page, you said?
Yeah.
Not on the tech details page. So I know you put some stuff in the tech details.
Yeah,
page.
I just linked from tech details to sweat equity. And then at the bottom of the sweat equity, it says there's a tutorial.
See this tutorial. Yeah, I was looking for another section. I didn't realize it was literally in the same sentence.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
paragraph. So if I go to so now I'm at I see the screenshots, but you said we can play with it. Can I actually click on something and get to see what you see?
Yeah, before the first screen, I'm sorry, I'm not on the page right now. Before the first screenshot, there should be a run the Explorer or something.
Okay. You got it. I just got your welcome page that you had before. Neat. Thank you.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome that we're making progress. I haven't been here for a while, so it's nice to see that. If there aren't any other topics, we do have one that we can talk about.
Sold.
Awesome. So, came to my attention over the weekend that Sarah is leaving CIS, so she's not going to be here after a couple of weeks from now. I think June 3rd is her last day. So, and I don't necessarily expect that she'll continue on with Pace. It may not be part of her new responsibilities with the new employer. So, obviously, Sarah, we wish you the best and all of that. But what I'm trying to do here is say, hey, we're going to be without somebody to basically help run these meetings. So is there anybody who would be willing to volunteer to do that after Sarah leaves us?
First, thank you to Sarah, and I'm so sorry that we drove you to distraction to the point where you quit.
Oh, not at all.
Definitely thanks, Sarah, for all the effort you put in. I know from our side, we are kind of swamped at the moment with preparing for the call and other things. So it's an action item we can bring inside to discuss, but I don't know if we can host right now, or at least in the next coming weeks. We'll have to see. But yeah,
Hey, Mike,
yeah.
sorry to be clear, we don't need a host. We just need somebody to run the meetings. We can still provide the WebEx and all that other stuff if that's what you're talking about. I just want to be clear about that.
yeah, I guess I'm thinking. I guess I wasn't sure if you were thinking more from a co-chair perspective. I guess is I guess more what I was hinting at.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, obviously we're here. If we just need people to be in here running the meeting, that's fine. But I know from an OCA perspective, I guess a chair is supposed to be in the room technically. I don't remember what the bylaws are specifically. I'm sure someone here knows them better than I do, but.
Well, it's a good question. It hasn't actually come up before because you're not actually being asked to chair sorry.
Unknown caller.
Get rid of that. Perfect timing. You're not being asked to chair the OCA, which would require you to be on the PGB and be a paying member. This is just a project. I don't know that we have any rules that you have to be a PGB member. It'd be sort of weird if you had something that you really desired and we got deadlocked about it and it went up, it had to get kicked upstairs to be a vote and you wouldn't be allowed to go vote, but that's true now. So I think you still could be, but that's a good question. We'll have to ask Jason.
Totally. And it's not like we're bailing out. Like I'll still participate in the governance board and all of that. I just can't always make this particular meeting every week. So really it's about this particular meeting. It's not necessarily even about pace overall. It's just I want to keep this going, right?
Yeah. So if it's just from that standpoint and making sure the meeting has someone to just like, and you have the WebEx and you just need someone to help like keep the meeting moving along. I should be able to be here most Mondays and I can help along with that for the interim.
Okay.
So I'd be happy to do that. And you guys can just hear me.
Adam, would you just need to add them as host or?
Well, that's a good question. So again,
I mean, I'll be on the next two meetings, but
yeah, we'll figure out the logistics of that.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, if it's not me stepping up to be a co-chair, but me just trying to just help keep the meetings going right now, I'm happy to do that. And I'm happy to kind of take some of that forefront. so we can keep things going. I hope you, Adam and Sarah, I know Sarah, you're about to head out, but hopefully you guys can join us at the call in some capacity on June 2nd if you guys are still around or not too busy.
Yeah, I still plan on coming to the call on Thursday, or it's Thursday, right? On June 2nd?
June 2nd, yeah, that's a Thursday.
Yeah, yeah.
Not next Thursday, thankfully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
I'll be
panic.
at that.
I was like, what do you mean Thursday? I can't do this yet. I haven't mentally prepared. But yeah. So yeah, Adam, that should work for me. But we'll figure out the logistics over the next couple of weeks. Dave, I think you wanted to say something though. Maybe you wanted to tell me to shut up. Who knows?
No, I just, this PACE had sort of gotten started from SCAP version 2, that MITRE was taking the lead on. And that, we took that to Oasis, and then, we lost MITRE support. And then PACE is the replacement for that for doing security automation. From an NSA perspective, we were using PACE or SCAP v2 as use cases to support the CAW and to support OpenC2 development. But SCAP v2 itself was not, our central focus. We were sort of, you participating in it as a forum for developing the use cases that we wanted to exercise for OpenC2. So I'm wondering, about CIS's continuing, intellectual property input to PACE or to security automation. So like Mike said, we could run the meetings, but we are sort of followers rather than leaders on driving, a security automation architecture forward. We're following that as a vehicle to, drive OpenC2 development.
Adam, I think he was asking you a question.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Can you repeat the question? My fault.
Yeah, NSA is not, leading the PACE activity or co-chairing the PACE activity. We're just using that as a forum to develop our OpenC2 use cases.
Got it.
So CIS, security automation and PACE are CIS's baby. So, hopefully there will be somebody from there that is providing the intellectual property and driving PACE forward kind of function.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out at this point, actually. So like exactly how that works logistically, who has time cycles, what we can donate, what we can't donate, all of that kind of stuff. It's just been, I guess, challenging. That makes sense.
Well, I have a hope. It might be a totally unrealistic hope. I tend to be more optimistic in these matters than I'd like. Otherwise, OpenC2 everyone would be using it already. But I do have a hope that the cyber automation workshop on the 2nd will spur some interest in this area. So we probably do need to sort of have our ducks in a row, because it's at least possible we'll have a bunch of new entrants come into the meeting, the meeting starting in June or later in June or whatever. Not that we'll do anything different, but just, right now it's sort of a smaller cadre of us. I am hopeful the cadre will get bigger, which will have its advantages. They'll also have its disadvantages. So we'll just have to deal with it.
Right. Be careful what you wish for, basically. I get it.
Exactly.
Right. Well, hopefully we'll have some better answers over the next couple of weeks, and one day at a time, I guess.
And Sarah, I also want to thank you for the effort that you have done. Give you my congratulations because I assume you're moving on to bigger and better things. And Adam, my condolences because you're losing Sarah. Are you allowed to say where you're going yet, or is that too soon to ask?
I don't mind. I'm telling people I'm going to Harvard Business Publishing as a software architect.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
And don't forget all this stuff. Make sure to make them do all the stuff we're doing.
All right. Right.
They seem to be incorporating a lot of things, that I think my time at CIS will be helpful.
Good.
Definitely. I mean, from one nonprofit to another, right? It's all good. Cool. Well, that was all. I guess that's all we had. So, if there's nothing else, we can adjourn early.
I've got plenty to do.
So a quick update from HII.
Sure.
One, you'll note a new name on the grid, Caitlin Sue. She's a new member of our software development team. Coming up to speed. Dave Kemp mentioned the posture attribute collection actuator profile, and we've been working with him on that. We've got one topic we're discussing today, and then hopefully I will have an update to the Pack AP posted onto GitHub where it can be shared as a link and people can see the whole document. It's very stripped down, bare bones, but that's what we want right now. And that will be what our team is developing to for the call. And we're pretty close to ready to share the details of connecting to the Google Cloud hosted MQTT and OpenDXL brokers that we've got to facilitate communications. So hopefully all that information will be out and available within the next day or three. People can make use of it.
Wonderful. Congratulations and welcome to Caitlin. Dave, is there any chance you're going to be, and I haven't looked, so apologies if you already did it, that you're going to be updating your open source anytime prior to June 1st?
That is the plan. I'd prefer to defer to Jerry on where we stand against executing that plan, because he's really more in charge of the software than I am. Jerry, do you want to say a couple words about our update plans?
Our
All right.
update plans are that we update our dev branches first, and then we will move everything up to the official Oasis.
So dates in mind, it hasn't been updated in a year. So looking at it from a sort of open source best practices viewpoint, most people would consider it stale. But if someone did go in and use it, I assume anything they made would get thrown out shortly thereafter when you put your changes in, because I assume they're non-trivial. So if there would be any way to update longer before everyone's going to go look at it than the day before, it would be good. I realize you got a lot of constraints. You probably don't want to put crap out there, but my gut is whatever you have is probably less crappy than what's there from a year ago, but I don't really know. So just if you could get stuff out there, it'd sort of look better to the open source community that's looking at stuff.
Acknowledged.
Awesome. Well, Caitlin, welcome. And I guess no other topics, so we can adjourn probably. Sarah, sorry to take over, I guess, but
Oh, it's fine. I'll take it. I'll cover the next 2
Great.
weeks.
All right.
Good call.
All right. Well, have a great day, everybody. Have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one, everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye-bye.